Hi, I'm Anna Louise Richardson and I'm the guest curator for Refracted Reality here at PICA. It's a group exhibition that looks at the window as a motif or metaphor for framing the Australian psyche and mediated truth, personal sovereignty and environmental upheavals that we all have come to be very aware of this year. I'm going to take you on a tour. First, we're going to go over here and see the works of Hoda Afshar. She's an Iranian-Australian photographic artist who looks at marginal experience and displaced people. These are portraits of the men who were abandoned on Manus Island in 2017 when the Australian Detention Centre closed. And they are portraits that are made in collaboration with those men, especially this, who's quite well known, Behrouz Boochani. He's a Kurdish journalist and writer, and the works are about the experience of the men as people, not just as refugees. Over here we have the work of Max Pam. He is a really senior West Australian photographic artist whose work is about his experiences of travel, and these two ensembles are from his latest book, which is called The Sea of Love, and they represent chapters of his life about love. This one is more personal, and this one is about political love. This is kind of the photographic space of the gallery, and as you come in to this room here, this is a refracted wall. This wall is designed to cut into the space as if like refraction, where you put the pencil into the water and it bends. So refraction is the bending of light. These works here are by Angela Tiatia. She's an Australian Samoan photographic and film artist, and they are about representations of identity and power and how social media can really affect how we see ourselves and see the world. They riff off lots of artistic references and the Greek myth of Narcissus, who is about a young man who fell in love with his own image reflected in a pool of water. Coming into the red, angry gallery, we have the work of Helen Britton. She's an Australian artist who lives and works in Munich in Germany, and her works are about her anger and frustration about the Australian 2019-2020 summer bushfires, and they reference the complete devastation of that experience and what it's like to be looking from the outside in. There are references within each of the works. This one is a lay, and it responds to how the Australian Prime Minister went to Hawaii in the middle of a crisis, and she's created this jewellery sculptural piece which is made of coal and plastic mementos from Helen's collection, as well as steel. She said you can wear it, but it would injure you if you put this on. This work a lot of Helen's work is about nostalgia, and it relates to her items she's collected across her life, and this is based on her childhood hot water bottle, and she used this image to inform a screen print that was for, she did as raising money for climate action and to save the koalas. And then coming over here, she has 3 jewellery pieces in the exhibition which talk about her experience of being in Australia just before Christmas in 2019, and how she was driving near the beach in Newcastle and black leaves were falling from the sky as everything was burning, and she's carved these onyx leaves and put them into these pieces which are reminiscent of mourning jewellery. These photographic wallpapers are made by Melbourne artist Valerie Sparks. They are larger than life representations of Australian native and introduced flora, and they reference the idea of a sanctuary. About it's created for plants, but it's also created for people, and it talks about what we let in and what we let out, and they kind of press in on us with these ominous stormy skies. These works are also about Valerie's interest in science and art, and they reference and pay homage to important women botanical artists who are responsible for our understanding of a lot of these plants. I'm going to come around here, loosely grouped to medium and the ideas that are discussed. So this is sort of like the painting wall. These three works are by Perth-based artist Ian Williams, and they look at representations of reality drawn from video games. And so he plays video games to find interesting objects which he exports and then creates still life compositions with them, and they play with forces of gravity and collision and light. They are sort of impossible choreography of objects with this first person perspective light, which he draws from the video game environment. This series of 4 works is by James Walker, who he now lives in Mandurah, but he moved from Tasmania a couple of years ago, and his work is about sense of place and memory. He also has a passion for aircraft and a shared interest in flying model aircraft with his father. He also used to work at Qantas baggage handling with his dad, and so these works are about his childhood experiences of flying model aircraft and about being separated from family. Spanning this wall and around over there are the works of Bruce and Nicole Slatter, who are a collaborative painting duo. They're married artists and they started painting together in 2016. Their works are almost like a documentation of 2 people sightseeing in their local suburban environment, looking for places of forgotten corners and entropy and decay, and looking for the beautiful moments of mundanity in suburbia. In this room, we have the work from Cuttebing Film Collective, who are a group of around 30 people from Bellewain community in the Northern Territory, and they work together in this truly collaborative way to make films that reflect their lived experiences and also create these kind of fictional narratives that talk about where we're heading on this planet and how we treat the environment and the people. It's a very dystopic, disturbing film about mining and the effects it is having on the community. This series of 3 works and the cat that we see around the corner are by Bruno Booth, who is a Fremantle-based artist, and his work is about his experience of disability and how there are different ideas explored across the works. They talk about memory and personal experience. This work is a reimagining of an ambulance that his dad repurposed into a camper van when he was a child. This work is part poem, part sort of dystopic narrative about his experience of being disabled. And this work talks about how when he was growing up in the 90s, there were no role models for him. The closest thing you could find were misfits and mutants from cartoons, aside from, human interest stories and the Paralympics. And so this is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in a wheelchair. And then this work is actually triggered by the fan, and it slowly spins around. And last but not least, we have his cat. He talks about cats as being enigmatic influences, and this work is going to roam around the gallery, so come and find it and see where it is. The exhibition is open now until the 10th of January 2021 at Pika. Come and visit us, we're in the Cultural Centre.